Follow me.
So it's been a few years since we caught up last, Lorne, and I'd just like to ask you, where are we at with Oddworld today? Are you happy with what's been going on the last few years and where Oddworld is heading?
Surprisingly, yes. It's been an interesting journey, right? We started in '94. We shut down an operation in 205. I think that's the last time I saw you. You were at our studio in 205, I think.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
For Stranger's Wrath.
For Stranger's Wrath. And then, the industry was changing quick, so we made a lot of decisions. We placed a bet that eventually digital distribution would actually be a way to revitalize ourselves the way we wanted to, basically moving out of the traditional developer-publisher relationships more into self-publishing. And in 2008, we started that on Steam, and now that allowed us to generate the revenue where we could finance things like New and Tasty. And now we're planning the second title. I can't mention it yet, but it's kind of obvious, and we're doing a similar treatment. And that's staging us to, its success. We're getting on more networks. We've got, we just released on Steam and PC, Mac, Linux. Now we have Xbox One, PS3, PS Vita, Wii U. All these are coming out still. And, sales have been great. Reception's been great. So where we currently are at, it's wonderful. We like it, and now we're looking at how do we take that to the next level. But in what we've been doing, we've been very conservative. Like, we've had to build it the old way, build business the old way. You actually make some money and then you reinvest it. You don't go out and get loans, financing. And so that was new to us, building businesses the old way. But it's actually working, and it's given us some creative freedom. And hopefully, it gives us enough of a bank reservoir that we can start doing that new IP sooner than later. And, obviously that's our goal. And so we got some other announcements we'll be making before that. But the trajectories look right, so I think the future's bright. And I got to say, we're happy.
And you teamed up with Just Add Water. Is that the sort of the road ahead to sort of forge that partnership, or are you looking to add other partnerships?
Wide partnerships. So Just Add Water did great. We worked with them, and over the last, we've been had a relationship with them since about 2009, and that's continuing. But we've also had relationships with other groups. So if you saw Stranger Mobile came out, iTunes, iOS, Google Play, Android, and that was done by Square One, so that's another type of relationship we have. That's out of Vancouver. They do great work. We're currently contracting with Nephilim, who's helping us wrap up some other contracts. So really the way we look at Oddworld is we want to be in more of a sort of film-like relationship where we scale with the projects, we keep our core very small, very simple, and then we're contracting out for all the needs, and then we go to the best people for the right time in the job, and so far that's been working out really nice.
And in there in the middle sits you and decides what's going to happen next.
Yeah, with some Rolaids and indigestion and some anti-stress pills or something. Yeah, but we got to figure it out. And we like the model of paying for it ourselves. That's always scary. It's challenging, but we do it. It's working, and it allows us to stay focused on quality and not like on release dates. So we messed some things up. We didn't get simultaneous release like we'd hoped on different platforms. So we live and learn, and then we leave some of the rewards laying on a table that we can get to harvest, and we say, okay, well, next time, can we do that a little better? Can we do it a little smarter? What did we do wrong? What did we learn? And it's nice because really, when you're independent like that, when you're truly self-published, independent indie, then you really have no one to blame. And, not that I've ever blamed anyone, but, you never have anyone to blame. So if you're messing up, you really got to own it. You got to figure it out. You got to adapt quick. You got to try and be smart. And you can't have your pie in the sky visions. You got to be practical and figure out how you can, how do we take a high-risk market and keep producing content that keeps the audience happy. And for us, sometimes, we value quality over sales. So it's like, sometimes it doesn't make sense. We'll be like, we can't allow a bad version to be out there. So we'll spend a little more. And because we're autonomous, we get to do that. It's not like we have, huge reserves, but we're able to do that. And so far it's working on the products out there. And I think the Metacritics reflect that. The reception reflects that. The audience seems happy. And they're telling us more and more and more. So hopefully we're going to fulfill that that request, you know, in reasonable time, in faster times than we have in the past. We'll see how all that goes.
I guess it's also one of those things about sort of what the industry has been a little bit poor at previously. It's like preserving things and making sure that, you know, these stories remain there for a future generation and future generation of gamers, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, maybe that is also part of the foundation that you're building now with this new.
Well, that's what that was always the idea, you know. I mean, we started talking long before you were out in the studio last time, and when you look at the whole history of it, that was the idea. The idea was, why can't Oddworld be like Dr. Seuss? Why can't it be like, you know, Mickey, right? Why can't it grow with generations? And why can't someone who played it when they were a kid now, when they have kids, and we're seeing that. We're seeing the people that were kids with Oddworld are now playing Oddworld with their kids. And they want to go back to the same games because it meant something special to them. So that longevity is there. What we didn't expect was that the old games would actually still continue to sell. And that new devices, like mobile devices, things like this, would create new opportunities and new exposure. So someone may have never played games except on a mobile device. And so for the first time, Oddworld's in their visibility and accessible, and we're getting good receptions in those areas. So when I look at it, I definitely want to keep on building into the future, keep on building upon things. I have to be smarter now, you know, because it's really do or die, and you got to figure it out yourself. But it's exciting, and I think one of the things that helped Oddworld was we were always about, you know, dark side of globalization content, right? So Abe was, if we look at it, Abe was the original 99% of gaming. Right, and when you say, you know, the 99%, like he was the original guy that was like, capitalism's kind of a problem, folks, and this is what's happening. And I remember when we released, almost all the reviews would come out, though very anti-capitalistic, right? And now they're like, look at Oddworld, man, they were ahead of the curve, and the world is screwed today. And they were talking about it back then. This is cool, you know. And the youth today is more informed. Like, it's got the web access. You know, when it's like 6 months old, it's got an iPad. So you have a whole different audience and a different awareness. And I think the content of what we created and what Oddworld's about is really resonating today more than then. And that, you know, that brings a certain fan loyalty with it. I think as long as we keep the quality high and stay true to what those ambitions of ours were and what we always told the audience we were about. So with those changes and with digital distribution, look, now we see more and more. You know, so we've got Android TV coming out. You got Shield devices for Android TV. You got PlayStation TV. You got, you know, Apple TV is going to have to go, and it's going to have to become more of an iOS Apple TV game system. So we see like the boundaries between what was a cable box, what was your phone, what is a console. All that's blurring, and it's surprising how much. I mean, we just took New and Tasty to Android for the Shield because we wanted to test how well the new Shield 2 tablet was performing, and it runs on there like surprisingly well. So it's like you didn't think that you'd be going from the PS4 to tablet, you know, in 6 months, and it actually works. So there's all these things. You know, the game business is actually very confusing right now, and I think the smarter you are, the more confused you might be, unless you're one of these big winners, you know. And so many things that are moving, so many things that are changing. It's like, what is the game business today? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure, because it changes every week now, you know. Look at this show last year and look at it today. You know, last year it was like, was there even VR here? Barely. And now today, you know, look at all the ancillary products, all the related stuff, it's all around it. So really exciting stuff happening. Don't know exactly where it's all going. See a lot of exciting opportunity. Hopefully we have some really exciting announcements in the future, but, you know, not stuff I can ID right now.
So, I mean, is VR something that interests you? Because I mean,
tremendously, and I think it has a lot of challenges as well. So, I think the biggest challenge that's going to happen to VR is bad software, and most of the, you know, this is just a fact. Most of the gaming community does not know how to design software for VR, and what's going to happen is we're going to have a lot of nausea, we're going to have a lot of sickness, and we're going to have a lot of designers and developers blaming their bad software, blaming the hardware for why their software is making people sick. But really, it's a design solution. I feel like the good devices, the people that are leading this space, have the tech in a place where if you design properly for it, you can really make it work into a beautiful experience. If you're trying to reverse engineer your old thinking into the VR format, you're in trouble. And you know, I don't think you're going to create very compelling experiences for people, maybe quite the opposite. You know? I mean, when did a consumer electronics product ever give you a 5-hour headache if it was a bad piece of software? Ever. So we're in a whole different category, and the reason that's happening is because it's so powerful. Have you done the Crescent Bay demos?
Not yet.
So you need to. Because when you do, it's game over. You get it. It's a game changer. You get it. And then there's a lot of other complications that come with that I think need to shake out, on legal, all kinds of levels, because it really is that game changing. The question is, how soon is it really in the marketplace? How early should small developers be investing in it? When is there an install base? How long is the duration of stay? How long are players willing to stay in there? Right now, there's not much that's lasted more than a few minutes, right? And there's a reason. So there's a lot of things to learn, and I think there's going to be a lot of failures, and we'll get to learn from a lot of those failures. But overall, VR is not going away. It's here to stay. And so as a designer, I get very excited about it. As a business person, I'm less excited about it because I can't tell when we can actually stay in business building for it.
So that's when you have to decide what person you are most, or if you're the business person or you're the designer most.
Yeah, and how long you want to stay in business and what risks you're willing to take, right? So there's no doubt it's here to stay. Exactly who's going to be the winners and losers. Our game's going to be the biggest place. Industrial is going to be the biggest place. Is real estate, virtual wedding planning, is this going to be the biggest space? Is repairs on truck engines going to be the biggest space? Who knows? What we know is it's a totally game-changing format. It comes with a lot of questions, a lot of issues, and it has to, because it is so powerful, and it is powerful. I mean, you get in there and you're standing on the ledge of a building in Valve's demo, and they just tell you to step off, and you can't. Now, I'd like to see you with the camera filming him with the demo, standing on the 60th floor in VR, and just say, step out. And if you can do that, I'll give you a free game. But I'll tell you, and you're a tough...
Maybe I'll already have that game.
Maybe, but maybe. That'd be nice. But I couldn't step out. So I know there's a 100% safe floor in front of me, but when I look down, I'm on a 60-story building with traffic running below my feet, and being normally human, I'm a little afraid of heights. A little. Not massively, but not enough that knowing 100% I could do that and be safe. But your mind sees one thing and your body knows another, and a lot of new discovery here. Very powerful technology.
All right. Thank you so much for talking.
Hey, my pleasure. It's great to see you again.